What's up guys, I'm Kieran and welcome back to the guest shaming series. In this series I go undercover on my secret alt TNT guest shamer, and in each episode I scroll through my activity log, find some games, decide which players to analyze, and analyze a new set of players each week. In this week you may notice I've changed my microphone. Let me know what you think of my new microphone, and we also have an interesting distribution. We've got a lot of Europe, a lot of Bolivia. So let's jump straight into it. We start with a game from Theory, and location number 1, which is in San Marino. So he sends the Alps on San Marino. So the most important thing for San Marino is it's a micronation with only one set of coverage. That's Gen 2 full coverage, so you have this big Gen 2 car player with big blue in the sky, and it's the same infrastructure as Italy, so you should always be thinking it, even if you're feeling all the medicine for Italy, like this language and the street sign. And also a very distinct thing for San Marino is this distinct looking hill. The entire country is on this big hill, and it's very distinct and famous and identifiable. It's a bit obscure in this location, but you can like kind of tell even from this side. And yeah, it's got like castles on top of it. So yeah, that's San Marino. Heading on to round 2. This one's in northwestern Turkey. He sent US on this. So I did some research, and this is what they call a Turkish oak. And yeah, like just on the vibes, the climate here is more warm with the more yellowish soil and I guess yellow kind of dead grass, which make you lean Mediterranean. And then you know this species of tree, it's very common in Turkey. You can see a little bit in Italy, also see it in Bulgaria. And spam this much, you're basically always going to be in Turkey, but it's a pretty niche tree to know. It's not the most common, definitely not easy around. Understandable to miss that one. Round 3, we have Kenya. He sent Botswana. So yes, this is a Kenya with a very dry climate. Mountain desert in the north of the country, and we see English, which makes sense for Kenya, and we have this big Ute blur in the Google car. So this big Ute blur, you can find it in Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, Qatar, UAE, and Panama, and Kazakhstan. And so yeah, you'll never see in Botswana. It's one of the most distinct colors in the game. It's sometimes blurred, sometimes not. It's usually like silver / grey in Kenya, but this time it's blurred. And if you move down there, you can see the snorkel, but it was blurred in the frame you had, so it can definitely be tough to make out. And vegetation here, these trees are very Kenyan to me. It's called an umbrella thorn. So yeah, it's called an umbrella thorn because like it's shady, and like these trees, they never go in straight lines up. They're always like bent in some random direction. And yeah, it's very African looking and most common in Kenya, in my experience, in the desert. So yeah, that's good to know. And obviously English, so it might be Senegal or anything. And this dryness is only like this region of Nigeria, and it wouldn't have these trees. Yeah. Moving on to round 4. This one is in Malta. So he sent Romania. I would say good thing to use for this one is that in this location you can see a steering wheel on the right side of the car, which would indicate this country drives on the left. So the steering wheel is always on the opposite side of the car as the driving side of the country. That's always good to use if you're considering Malta in a location like this. And this architecture, it's very Middle Eastern looking. It's very sandstone heavy, I think is the word I've used in the past. You see water tanks, which also indicate coastal, very common in the Mediterranean. And yeah, this extreme use of sandstone, it's more Middle Eastern than it is Mediterranean, but yeah, you see them like it's similar to Tunisia or Israel or something like that. And yeah, it's a bit too dry for something like Romania, for example. Yeah, and obviously with the blue strips on plates, you're gonna be in Europe. Round 5. This one is in Eswatini. I believe he sends South Africa right next to Eswatini. But yeah, you can be pretty confident in this one because this is what they call Eswatini grass, probably the most common hint given to people for Eswatini. Very long grass, and it's very yellow in aesthetic. It's taken in the middle of the summer, basically, when yeah, the landscape's very yellowed. You'll always see this Gen 3 white car, and you also see these Eswatini poles. So there's alternating hooks on a wood pole, and these are the basically, yeah, you'll only see wood poles in Eswatini, and they're extremely common here. You see them a little bit in the north of South Africa, so the region you sent could have them. But yeah, if you're thinking Eswatini and you see those poles, that's a good hint that you're probably right. Let's head into round 6. He sends Bulgaria, kind of hedging for Serbia. I'm not feeling confident. So easiest method for this one is there's a yellow sign. They use yellow signs in Slovenia, Croatia, Serbia, and Montenegro. With the Cyrillic, it's not going to be Slovenia or Croatia. But yeah, in Bulgaria, they use blue/white signs. A sign like this would be blue. And yeah, they use green signs as well in Serbia. Also, this is Gen 3 camera quality, and there's no antenna Gqlactic car. And in Gen 3, no car, that's pretty rare in Europe, and it's the only coverage in Serbia and North Macedonia, and all surrounding countries have antenna. So Bulgaria will always have antenna in Gen 3. So that's a good hint to rule that one out. And also, with this divided highway and a ridge north, this is quite a gettable road, the E70, to the west of Belgrade, if you're confident in Serbia. And you can find the city Sid here. Round 7. Okay, I think that is the last round from theory, and we move on to Gqlactic's games. We're starting off in Russia. So this location is in the Korean Republic. It is a Gen 4 summer coverage, and he sends Orenburg. So probably the most important tip for this one is these pink flowers. I honestly forgot what they're called. But yeah, they're very common in Archangels in the Korean Republic. And they're an indication of north. Basically, anywhere in the world, like in Scandinavia and in Russia and even in Alaska and Canada, you see these pink flowers, these like long flowers. You're going to be very north somewhere. And yeah, these two states, Archangels and the Korean Republic, have a lot of Gen 4 dirt roads, by far the most of anywhere in Russia. And they're all summer. So it's very lush and green despite how north it is. And you get lots of skinny birch trees, skinny spruces, stuff like that. And what you sent, like Orenburg is a much more dry climate. This is like almost in the desert. So it's way different. And yeah, I grabbed an example before, and this is kind of what Orenburg dirt roads would look like. Very yellow, very dry, very short trees. But yeah, like it's too dry for trees to grow, basically. It's bordering the Kazakhstan desert climate. Yeah, that's my tip for that region, guess. Next location is in southeastern Bolivia. And he sends Mexico. So you can see how this is confusing. It's a car blur frame, so you can't see the white car that would normally indicate Bolivia. And then you got these weird bollards. And to be honest, like I don't even know these bollards. I wouldn't really associate them with Bolivia, but Bolivia as a country has a lot of variation in their bollards and different roads of different bollards. They're kind of random. A Mexican bollard is a similar shape as well, but it would never have a reflector, and it would also always have black on the bottom. And yeah, these have reflectors, and they don't have any black on the bottom, so you can know that they're not Mexican bollards. also the easiest tip to be confident in Bolivia here. So it's a pole. So it's like a trident style pole, or on a wooden pole, and the wood's also very bendy, like and it's like a distinct pole top in its shape. But yeah, the wood is like very low quality, like just a tree basically, and they're always like not straight, like most countries do their poles, so it's kind of distinct. And yeah, that's basically almost completely exclusive to Bolivia. Also, with this more dry climate, it's kind of unique, kind of like Brazilian feeling climate, a bit more arid, but also like towards the Andes. And there's a ridge west, and it's quite distinct from this road. If you're trying to get the road here in Bolivia, this 9 is a very long road, and it usually has a ridge west, and this stretch is a ridge east. So yeah, it's quite identifiable. Good road to know. We move on to round 9. This is in Spain. I believe it's on a different game. Not a bad mistake at all, but this is in Murcia. He's sending the Madrid, and really good vegetation out here is these are almond trees. It's like an almond plantation basically. You also see like olive trees, I believe these are. But, these trees with the pink blossoms, you can be confident almond trees. They're sometimes green, but when it's pink, you can be 100% confident. And almond trees are most common in the southeast of Spain, particularly around Murcia and the southeast coast in Gqlactic. You can see them a little bit inland for sure, but most common here. Round 10, and this one is in Amapa, Brazil, and he sets near Tocantins, just kind of heading north. Definitely a more difficult location. I would say there are a couple of clues in the vegetation, notably this palm. It's like a Sierra palm, people call it. The technical name might be like a Palmyra palm. It's common in Cambodia and Sri Lanka, but it's indicative of like a dry climate, and they're pretty common in Amapa. Most common like Sierra, you see them a little bit in Piauí, but yeah, they're in like dry climates in the north, in Roraima too. And you wouldn't see like inland like Tocantins. Also eucalyptuses. There's a weird like amount of eucalyptuses in Amapa. It's kind of a weird pocket. You also see them a lot in North Espirito, South Bahia, and like Northeast Minas. Also another big pocket, and then kind of throughout South eucalyptus, and they're obviously common south. But in the north, they're very common in Amapa. Also, yeah, Amapa has a striped car. Basically everything near Amapa will have a blue car. In the Amazon, striped car. You can't really make it out here very well. So it's like white on that side, blue in the middle, and then white on the left. But yeah, it's blurred kind of weirdly in this frame, so you can't really make it out well. So that's fair enough to not be using that. And also this bridge design, a wooden bridge like this to me is very Amazonian. Just the entire Amazon rainforest, like even in Peru and Colombia, they use a lot more wood bridges in the Amazon versus like in the Andes, because I guess it's more flat and they have less developed technology for like concrete roads or anything. So with their dirt roads, they'll just connect them with a wood bridge. You see it a little bit in like Indonesia, but yeah, in South America, it's a hint to me for the Amazon. We move on to Mike JB, who was playing NMPZ. So I'll show what he was looking at NMPZ here. So we start off in Malaysia. He sends Central Sulawesi on Sandakan. So this one is in Sabah, Malaysia. So this pole, instantly I see it, and it's a concrete round pole, and it's skinny. So you'll never see like a skinny concrete round pole in Indonesia at all. And like, if it was thick, it would usually have a pole top in it. And yeah, Indonesia has a lot of variation in their their poles. Also, stilted architecture makes a lot of sense for Sabah. And this palm, I forgot what the name of it is, but it has a interesting name, Nipa palm. So yeah, these are called Nipa palms. I associate them a lot with Borneo, Malaysia. They're very common in both Sarawak and Sabah. You can see them a little bit in mainland Malaysia. You can see it coastal like anywhere in Asia really, but they're most common in Malaysia to me, and especially in Borneo, Malaysia, because obviously the entire region coastal. But yeah, they're like in higher density than anywhere else. But yeah, those are my hints for that round. Moving on to round 12. This is in Cambodia. He sends Water Hedge on Cambodia. So it's quite bad panning by the mapper here, but so I think it's AI generated. But this commenter, number 1, this commenter is a white card with like a yellow and blue stripe. That is only found in Cambodia and Bangladesh. And Bangladesh is found in Dhaka and Khulna. And those are the only places you'll see it, and it's quite common in Khulna. So that's good to know. But it's a lot more common in Cambodia because Bangladesh is overwritten there mostly. And also the vegetation here lines up for Cambodia. That's a cassava, I believe. I'll just double check. Yeah, cassava and banana plants in the right. Yeah, cassava to me, most common in Thailand and Cambodia. You can see it a little bit in like Lampung, Indonesia. That's quite rare, and you can see it in South America, like Brazil, maybe like Ghana, even in Africa and Nigeria. But yeah, this plant's very common in Thailand and Cambodia. So that's kind of the first thing I think of, and so yeah, like I wouldn't be hedging away from it. They have a lot of plantations in Thailand. Yeah, let's move on to round 13. This one is in Qatar. Him and his opponent both sending in UAE. So, okay. Number one thing for this, I'd say, is road quality and like the road lines. So, UAE is mostly comprised of like divided highways. So, it's kind of rare to even see small roads like this. I think I grabbed an example before. And yeah, like this is an example of a small road, and even it has really nice like concrete road quality and like all yellow lines on the smaller white roads. Otherwise, like everywhere is like dirt. So Qatar is a lot different. It has a lot of more random small white roads. And they usually have white middles. This is weird like construction lines. So it's slightly better in that aspect, but the road quality you should never see in UAE. Like here's like a very average Qatar road, like with this road quality. Essentially, I'm speaking about like rural roads. Urban, obviously, UAE could have similar stuff, but yeah, when it comes to rural roads, that's a easy hint to use. And yeah, this weird construction lines, like I said, Qatar minute, but they're kind of rare. Also, the vegetation, the shrubs are a bit different in Qatar, a bit. I know these like smaller tree-looking things, whereas UAE you might like see a bit taller trees, different trees. Yeah. Moving on to number 14. This one is in Canada, in Quebec. And Mike JB sends Germany on this location and visit. So I would say, I guess he got baited by these bollards, thinking there might have been some weird European bollard. But no, these are just like sticks placed to mark the house. This signpost is very North American looking. This pole has a mushroom insulated on top of it, which they never do in Europe. Very common in North America, and the Americas, you can see it, and also Philippines and Bangladesh, but super common in North America. It rules out Europe. It's very common in North America. So in the 50-50, if you see a pole, you should never be seeing Europe with that. Also, yeah, this architecture is extremely North American. I'm not sure you call this material, but like it's like wooden or vinyl walls. Like the wooden shed. This architecture, like the house is a basement, so North American looking with the windows and just the aesthetics of the house, and like you can see how this road quality made you think maybe more Europe, but you definitely see it in North America. So don't get baited too much by that. and there's also a cornfield, which makes sense for like Quebec. 15. This one's in Czechia. Definitely not easy NPZ. I'd say the number one thing here is even blurred. Like I can tell that's a Czech town energy sign. They use white town energy signs. Czechia and Slovakia. I'll just look closer and like yeah, that's the Czech sign. Even like blurred, you can kind of identify that. Do you know what you're looking for? Also, like I believe he sent Austria on this. It's a different duel. And yeah, he's in Austria on this, and I would say a good thing to know about the kind of difference between Czechoslovakia and Austria is that Austria is a lot more rigid with its like its road system, I guess, where like they have main roads and the smaller roads are a bit yeah, again, like always like paved, like they pave a lot of their roads like with road lines and stuff. So they don't have many of these like I don't know, skinny real roads with no road lines, and Czechia and Slovakia are full of them. Like Czechia is basically like entirely comprised of roads like this, without any road lines. Like it's like 90% of their roads, whereas in Austria it might be like 5-10%. So yeah, like understanding the road type and like where you'd see a road type like that is very good for Europe. Round 16. This is in Turkey. He sent Spain on this. His opponent sent Bulgaria. It's definitely a bit of a weird Turkey, especially for this region. But I'd say like Spain's very logical guess on the climate, and even like these plantations, like olive trees, are definitely quite common in Spain. And like yeah, this vocal is a bit more Turkish for sure. Like there's definitely salt and pepper, and yeah, Turkey's kind of known for salt and pepper the most in Europe. So yeah, so road quality is a big thing, and also these like very green grass, like rolling hills, like that's super common in Turkey. Yeah, I'd say that's honestly my best advice. Use the salt and pepper road quality and also the lush greenness. Like I grabbed some examples here. So like this is like an average Ankara, and look how green it is. Like the rolling hills, like in Turkey, in Spain, this would be a lot more yellow. And yeah, you see the road quality here. This is very standard salt pepper. Here's like an example of like a look in Spain with like similar vegetation, but like look at the grass. It's so much more yellow and like dead. They don't go the same as in Turkey in the road quality. Even when they have bad road quality, it doesn't look salt and peppery. Number 17. This one is in the French Alps. It was by Greedy. So Greedy is just hedging all of South France. That's fair enough, but I think it's very gettable to get the Alps here. I'd say the Alps here is quite gettable because these huge mountains is going to be in the Alps or Pyrenees range, and in the 50-50, I would say the Alps is a lot more developed and populated, and the architecture is a lot different. So you can see in the distance here, like this very dark brown wooden roofs. You can kind of see them through the trees. They're very alpine, like that's a literal word for them. Like you see them a lot in Switzerland, Austria, and these houses they have like these little solar panels on top. That's very common in Germany and like northeastern French architecture, like a kind of German-looking architecture to me on these buildings, which makes sense for the Alps and not much for the Pyrenees. And yeah, you got a giant highway, like nice roads, nice signs, and even like a truck, which indicates you're near a border. So yeah, Alps are quite gettable in my opinion. Round 18. This one is in Ireland. He sends UK on this, so it's fair enough. This is definitely a tough 50-50 a lot of the time. But this to me seems like a bit default Ireland. Like so like it's a Gen 2 country road. Ireland is a lot more Gen 2 at this point, and way more country roads. And like if you have a look like where you sent like this is kind of the aesthetic of the average UK country road, and you see like they're very strict property boundaries and like a lot more open landscapes generally. And like when they have trees, they're usually a bit more distinct and like piney and taller. Whereas islands, you can see like the trees here are shorter. There's lots of bushes and hedges and like wild plants, and like there's no like strict property boundaries here at all, which in UK there generally would be for the most part. And like yeah, this field is like owned by someone, but like in the UK there'd be like fences or taller hedges. If that makes sense. Um, yeah, and like yeah, closed in landscapes are generally more Irish to me with this aesthetic, especially. Yeah, 19. This one's in Bolivia again. So he sends Santa Cruz de la Sierra on La Paz. So this is a big divided highway. So this is on the one. But firstly, I think you need the vibe for the vision guess. So like these super red houses that you associate with Bolivia, you see them a little bit in Santa Cruz, but like you see them a lot more often in the west and in the desert, in the drier regions. And like this entire house is made of red brick, which is yes, very common in La Paz, Oruro, most often. Also like the greenness, this like farming valleys are very La Paz. And I guess this yeah it's like a near water Lake Titicaca climate, whereas in Santa Cruz it's east of Andes, like almost subtropical climate, which it's even greener here. You know, a lot more palms, like a lot more lush, and like yeah, the grass is always green. You know, even here it's like peak of winter and it's still super green, whereas you know here it's in the summer and it's not as green. It's you know it is ultimately a dry climate. You can see it's like a desert on the map, whereas this green on the map, which is yeah how I would get the region. Also the one in Bolivia is a huge divided highway between La Paz and Oruro. You can see divided locations north and west of La Paz, but this is like probably the easiest divided highway in Bolivia and like by far the biggest. You see them a little bit in Santa Cruz, but this is a very long stretch and a very identifiable road. And yeah, you'll generally see mountains east, although here they're not as clear because they're a bit more gradual. And yeah, with the mountain west in the distance, you can kind of find this valley. Yeah, let's move on to round 20. So round 20 is in Sakhalin. Move on to a new game. And he sends east of Cheetah. Just kind of hedging East Russia on Sakhalin. So here's the location. It's a dirt road and a million of these trees, which are Siberian larches. Not to be confused with like Western Russian pines that are like the same as like Northern European pines that you see a lot in Europe. These trees are very distinctly different. And you see them like 100 of them on this road. And Siberian larches I associate with kind of like Irkutsk in east. You see them in Irkutsk and on this road and in northern Sakhalin for sure. So yeah, his guess makes sense with the larches, but with a dirt road like this, and Black Car, the two major dirt roads are this one going to Venino, which is very mountainous for the most part, and northern Sakhalin. So like the north half of Sakhalin is basically one long dirt road, and you can see it goes from very low trees to very like densely forested from the middle to the north. And there's a dirt road that goes through all of it, and this is kind of in the middle of that spectrum. So it's quite identifiable, even without like cabbage, which you see in the southern half of Sakhalin. These roads are very distinct, and like where he sent is obviously a paved main highway. So I think he sent in the Gen 4, but in the Gen 3, like yeah, even then, it's always going to be a paved road. And yeah, these are really long dirt roads, so it's way more common than like random tiny dirt roads you might get like in here. Something like Gen 4, I think. But yeah, like yeah, just know your roads for that one. That's it. Moving on to round 21. this one is in Bolivia for the third time. He sent Peru. This one is near Potosi. So this is, firstly, there's a white signpost. So a thick white signpost is exclusive to Bolivia. In Peru, it's a black and white striped signpost. So this signpost I look at and it's 100% Bolivia. There's like a thick, I'm not sure the material, actually, wooden, I think. A thick wooden signpost that's painted white. That is a Bolivia minnow, and in Peru they're always black and white. You can see another one over here. It's one. This climate definitely is a common climate in Peru. Like a very highlands, dry Andes location with these shrubs. I understand the climate. But in Bolivia, when you see this climate, you know you're going to be in the west of the Andes, and really there's like overcast like highlands. Like this photo is descending known for its overcast coverage. North of Potosi. You'll see it on plenty of different stretches, and it's pretty distinct and gettable road. Yeah, that's my advice for that. Moving on to round 22. So I'm getting a bit lost. 20 rounds. So I think we're on Treezerik now, our last game of the video. So we're analyzing this. Mendoza location. Him and his opponents are sending San Juan, Lavioja, and his opponents are sending Yuquin. Both those guesses are reasonable. So we have this dirt road with very dark looking low shrubbery that I kind of would associate with more south than Mendoza. Mendoza is a bit more northern with maybe bigger shrubs. Also Mendoza itself, yeah, like Mendoza, like obviously wouldn't have as many like hyper rural dirt roads. And yeah, this is the type of vegetation, you get more trees, and yeah, it's just more northern looking. But in this location, definitely more of a south vibe than Mendoza climate-wise, and but I understand mountain-wise, like you see a big ridge east. Ridges east, you expect more in the north because like the ridges go a bit more inland Argentina, so you can kind of find a lot more locations with ridges east, like north of San Juan and stuff. But it's a pretty distinct mountain. Good to know. South of San Rafael, you can see this some hills east, and yeah, in Yuquin you see them a little bit, but it's a bit more random and gradual, and not like a distinct big snow-capped mountain like that. Like here, like yeah, sure you have hills east, but they're not as jutting out of nowhere as you get more north. Sometimes you see snow caps, but again, this is like towards the west of Argentina's climate, whereas this is a bit more inland. So yeah, it's kind of an exception. And like yeah, these ones like inland, if that makes sense. So it's like kind of like this concept with a more southern climate. It's kind of like yeah, difficult to get for sure, but it's definitely gettable if you know your Argentina. Right, round 23, last round of the video. We move on to British Columbia. Oops. And yeah, everyone's lobby is sending east, and Treezerik's team is sending Quebec. So this location is near Prince George. This is what it looks like. So like I instantly see this landscape, and it looks like northern plains. So like we've got loads of spruces in the trees, and I think it's called like a white spruce, which I associate a lot with like northern BC, northern Alberta. It's kind of like the dark green on the map, like northern Sask, and it's like this. But yeah, like I got a couple of, like north plains, and they're covered in these spruces. Like yeah, it's just super common. And yeah, that you won't see them so much in Eastern Canada. I associate them way more over here. And like the open landscape, I think of as like these type of plains rather than these. Like these don't really look the same, like green grass. I know. And yeah, the birches too, obviously indicating more plains and more north. Also, the ridge west is really the biggest clue to getting BC in this. And like yeah, it's kind of a bit of a microclimate of farming valleys around Prince George. Like you know, you have a lot of open farms this area. Yeah, open fields, which is kind of weird for BC, but it's a good reason to note. And you see like front plates on that car. Can't really tell that one, but that seems like another front, like front plates in every car. And oh yeah, before I forget, the Poles have this little sticker that is a BC sticker. It's kind of easy to confuse with other stickers, but like that is a BC sticker, and when I see it, it's good for confirming BC. Just a little like grayish yellow sticker. I think it's yellow. Yeah, it's a very small sticker that you see sometimes, not on every pole. Yeah. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy the content, if you'd like to buy personalized private coaching, there's a link in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching.